Hello, hello. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're new here, my name is Virginia and I am the creator here at Unique Boutique. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how I make my beautiful wheat stitch pumpkins. This is a crowd favorite. Everybody loves this particular one in this color. So I'm going to share with you the pattern that I use. I keep looking down because my cat is attempting to bite my cord to my ring light. But this is the pattern that I use. It is the Pumpkin Spice Crochet Trio by Briana K Designs. There's the pumpkin. Now, this is called a wheat stitch. Bean. Now she's chewing on my little mini fan. So this is called a wheat stitch. So that's what I call them. I call them my wheat stitch pumpkins. So this was the very first color scheme that I did. It has been my most popular color. I did sell out of these, so I will share with you the yarn that I used. So this is the Lion Brand Mandala, and it is the color Warlock. So as you can see, there's all of these different color variations in here. And what I do, it's a little time consuming, but it's definitely well worth it, is I go and take each individual color in the cake and make them into individual balls of yarn to use. So I will show you one that's in progress as we get into this video a little further. But now I'm going to share with you a couple of the other ones that I have made. Here's another little pumpkin that I made. Beautiful colors. This one has a light ivory boning between the wheat stitches. Very pretty. I have this one that was using the very same yarn cake, but this one I used a little darker in the middle. It's not the ivory like this one, as you can see. I used one of the other colors from the cake, and this one as well. I did the same way. My stems are all actual pieces of twig that I've cut out of my own yard, so I find that very unique. I love doing that. So those are those little pumpkins. Let's get into the pattern a little bit. It's an amazing pattern. It does look very intricate, your finished product, but once you get the hang of it, it's extremely easy. I find myself only looking at the number of rows in the beginning and then the number of columns, I guess you would call them, that you should have at the end. She gives a lot of great information in the beginning, everything that you need to know. And then you just jump right into the pattern. You jump right into the pattern here. She does have a QR code that I found extremely helpful at the bottom, and it'll help you walk through how to make the puff stitches. The wheat stitch is basically just 2 rows of puff stitches. And I've put a little ledger up here for myself that when I make this, so this pattern is for 3 sizes. You have your small size, your medium, and your large. Now, for me, the small pumpkin will have 9 rows of the wheat on it. And then the medium pumpkin should have 13 rows of wheat on it. And I didn't count the large one yet because this one, I actually did run out of this burlap color that I used for the boning. So I ran out of that, and I really didn't want to use a different color because it was really noticeable. So I cut this pumpkin a little bit short. So I do believe there should be at least one, possibly two more rows of the wheat stitch. But I love it the way it is. It's perfectly fine. That's another thing that's really nice about pumpkins, is that they're very, very forgiving. And if you need to make them a little smaller, make them a little larger, you can do that. So yeah, so that's it. It goes on to tell you how to stuff your pumpkin. I didn't really read any of that part because I've made pumpkins in the past, and I have a special way of how I close mine, which might be exactly the way that she does hers, but I already closed mine, so I did not need to read on to that. So now I'm going to share with you what they look like when they're in progress. Like I said, I break down the cakes into individual balls of the different colors. This one just happens to be the very center of my cake. I do use a 5mm crochet hook when I'm using this yarn. And here is a work in progress. So there's my work in progress for my next pumpkin. This is going to be like a breast cancer awareness themed pumpkin when it's done. And as you can see, I'm going to explain how I do this. So when you start off the pattern, you're going to do your chain, and then you're going to do 2 rows of back loop only single crochet. Then you're going to do 2 rows of the puff stitch. That creates the wheat pattern. And I always modify, I mean, almost always, but I would say at least 99% of the patterns that I work with, I always modify something on the pattern. And what I chose to do, it's just a personal preference, was I chose to do 3 pull-ups. I pull up 3 loops instead of just the 2. I think it gives it a little puffier, more distinct wheat pattern. And then as you can see here, because I'm color changing every 2 rows, all of my tails, aside from the very first tail, this is the very beginning, when I did my chain row, that's the tail from that, but all these other tails are when I change color in between. And when I get to the end of the row, I just tie them off together. So each row is tied off, knotted together to hold it. And that's pretty much the only thing that I have done different from the pattern. So a lot of people have been asking me when I post my pumpkins, how I am getting my stitches the way they look. Like I said, I use the Lion Brand Mandala yarn and a size 5 crochet hook. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just made those couple little modifications that I do for my pumpkins. They are absolutely not necessary. You can do the pumpkin in one color as well. I, for some reason, think it may be a little bit easier to try it in the multiple colors, more like this, where you're changing colors in between, just because that way you can clearly see the pattern. And then once you clearly see the pattern, you can work it up really easy. But yes, it's become my new favorite pumpkin. I did take them to market with me last weekend, and I sold out of all of the pumpkins that I had in this colorway. These sold out completely. I did come home with both of these, which I'm quite surprised with because I do absolutely love that color as well. And then I went and made a third one, this one. So I made this one as well. So I will have them for my next market, and I probably should make a couple more of these. Oh, that was another question that I got too. So out of one cake of yarn, I was able to make at least two. I made a medium and a small, and I did have a bunch of the colors left over. Like I said, the only color that I did run out of was the burlap kind of color here that I used for the boning. Yeah, that was the only color that I did run out of, but you know, I still do have a bunch of the little individual balls left like this from this cake. So you can probably, as long as you adjust your colors as you go along and what color that you are using for your boning, you can probably make 3 or 4 of the smaller pumpkins out of one cake. So that is how I make my wheat stitch pumpkins. I highly, highly recommend purchasing the pattern from Briana K Designs on Etsy. This is the pattern. It's written very, very well, very easy to follow. The end results are absolutely beautiful, and you're going to be able to sell them at market very easily. So thank you so much for watching. I really hope you learned something from my video. If so, please comment below. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I am trying to grow my little channel. I am now over 392, I believe, followers. I was so excited when I hit 100, and now here we are almost 400. So to me, that's extremely exciting. And I love checking it and seeing how many new followers I have. I love checking my videos and see how many likes that I have. So please, please, please like and share, and I'll be back in the next video. Bye-bye.